It's really kind of crazy how much information is out there these days, right?
Yeah.
It's like every day there's a million new articles and studies and opinions.
And it's all coming at you so fast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can
Yeah.
be so hard to figure out, like, what's actually important, what really matters.
I totally agree. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose.
That's a good way to put it.
Just trying to keep up with it all.
So that's why we're here with the deep dive.
That's right.
You've sent us a ton of really fascinating articles.
Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff.
And basically what we're going to do is we're going to kind of act as your guides, your personalized filter to help you get to the most important and interesting information.
Yeah, sort of like a shortcut to understanding everything that's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So think of this like your own custom briefing.
That's right.
All the substance, none of the overwhelm.
We're going to do a lot of exploring in this deep dive.
Yeah.
We're going to look at how countries are interacting with each other. Big changes in the economy, the always changing tech world, important policy decisions, and even some sports updates.
Exactly.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, we've got articles covering India's relationships with its neighbors and with some of the big global players like the U.S. and China.
Right.
We're going to talk about how the U.S. is shifting its view of global threats.
Interesting.
We've got debates on domestic policy in India, major moves in defense, some key infrastructure projects, and even a cybersecurity warning about something that's probably pretty familiar to a lot of people.
That one's going to be interesting, I think.
Yeah, so let's jump right in.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so first up, we've got this pretty significant development between India and Bangladesh.
Right.
India's decided to end this, what do they call it, a transshipment facility that they had set up for Bangladesh back in June 2020.
Yeah, and this was supposed to make it easier for Bangladesh to, export their goods. Basically, their stuff could move through specific Indian customs points on the way to ports and airports.
So it's like a shortcut for their exports.
Exactly.
Got it.
And this was especially helpful for their trade with Bhutan, Nepal, and Myanmar.
Right, so this was all about making trade smoother for Bangladesh, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But why end it now? I mean, what's the thinking there?
Well, it seems like Indian exporters, especially those in the apparel industry, weren't too happy about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've been pushing for this to be stopped.
I see.
They're saying it caused way too much congestion at Indian ports and airports, like major delays, increased costs, and it actually started messing with India's own exports.
Wow, so it kind of backfired, huh?
Yeah, you could say that a measure meant to help trade ended up hurting it for India in a way.
That's interesting. So what does this say about how things are going between India and Bangladesh? Some articles are saying this could mean things aren't as friendly as they seem.
Well, it definitely raises some questions. You have these high-level meetings and everything seems fine on the surface.
Right.
But then you have these actions that suggest maybe there are some underlying tensions, or maybe a change in priorities.
Okay.
And there's this other thing, too. It's pretty interesting, actually.
What's that?
The head of Bangladesh's interim government recently went to China.
Okay.
And apparently made a statement about Bangladesh being the sole guardian of the ocean in their region. Since India's northeastern states are landlocked, and he actually invited China to, expand economically in Bangladesh.
Wow, that's a pretty bold statement.
Yeah, it really adds another layer to the whole regional dynamics.
It definitely seems like there's a lot going on under the surface.
Definitely a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, but just to be clear, the articles do say this whole ending of the transshipment thing won't affect Bangladesh's exports to Nepal and Bhutan.
Right, that's important to note.
Okay, so those routes are still open.
Exactly. So it's specifically about the transshipment arrangement for broader exports.
Gotcha.
But the fact that it's being stopped because of, pressure from Indian exporters, it really shows you that there are some sensitive economic and strategic issues at play.
Right. There's more to it than meets the eye.
Absolutely.
So speaking of complex relationships, let's talk about India and China.
Okay, yeah.
There's been some talk about things maybe getting a little bit better between them.
Yeah, so India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has been saying that the relationship is moving in a positive direction.
Okay.
That they need to keep working to get things back to normal.
Of course, because we all remember what happened in the Galwan Valley.
Right. Those clashes were a huge setback.
Definitely. But they did finalize a disengagement agreement for the Dipsang and Demchok areas in October.
Yes, that's a major step.
So maybe they are actually making progress.
Well, it's a good sign, for sure.
Right.
But you have to remember that normalizing relations with a country like China, it's a long and complicated process.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of diplomacy and trust building.
Right. Rebuilding that trust is going to be key.
Exactly. So even though there's some optimism, it's important to remember those recent tensions.
Definitely.
It shows you how difficult it can be to mend those international relationships.
Absolutely.
It's a delicate process.
Okay, so let's switch gears for a minute and look at the U.S.
Okay.
They've made an interesting change to their list of global threats for 2025.
Oh, really? What's that?
They've taken Pakistan off the list.
That's a big change.
Yeah, instead they're focusing on China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran.
So they're seeing those countries as the main challenges.
Right, and it's not just about military stuff either.
Oh.
It's about strategic competition, military capabilities, technology, cyber activities, economic influence, all kinds of things.
So they're taking a really broad view of the threats.
Exactly.
That's not just about military might anymore.
Right, so this is a big shift from how they've seen things before.
It is.
What do you think is behind it?
Well, it could be that they're reassessing the global situation, you know? Maybe they see these other countries as more immediate threats, or maybe they're just changing how they think about different countries.
So Pakistan's not a threat at all anymore.
Well, it's not on the list of state actors.
Okay.
But this could have a big impact on security in South Asia.
That's true. It's all connected.
Exactly. Things are always shifting.
Okay, so let's come back to India for a minute and talk about a topic that's been pretty controversial, NEET.
Right. The National Eligibility Come Entrance Test.
Especially in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, they've been fighting this for a while now.
It seems like they're still pushing for that exemption.
Yeah, they're not giving up.
So what are they doing about it?
Well, they had this all-party meeting in Chennai,
Okay.
except for the AIDMK and BJP,
Right.
and they all agreed to keep fighting NEET in court. They're going to push ahead with the case they filed in the Supreme Court back in July.
Okay.
And they're even thinking about filing a new case. Yeah, specifically about the president not giving his okay to their state bill that was trying to get them out of NEET.
So they're taking it to the highest level.
They are, and Chief Minister M.K. Stalin seems pretty optimistic about it.
Oh, why is that?
He mentioned the Supreme Court ruling that cleared those other state bills, remember?
Right.
So he might see that as a good sign.
Like the court is on their side.
Well, maybe not on their side exactly, but
Yeah.
the court is recognizing the power of the states.
Right, states' rights.
Exactly. But NEET is a national policy, and it affects medical school admissions across the whole country.
Right.
So it's a tough situation.
It is. It's about finding that balance between what the state wants and what the national policy is.
Yeah. It's tricky, especially when it comes to education.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to something a bit more high-tech.
Okay.
India just approved a huge deal to buy Rafale fighter jets for their Navy.
Oh, wow. Those are some serious machines.
Yeah, this is big news for their naval power.
Definitely. So how many are they getting?
The Cabinet Committee on Security okayed a deal for 26 Rafale M combat aircraft from France.
26? Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and the price tag is even bigger, 64,000 crore.
Goodness gracious. That's a serious investment.
It is, but these jets are going to be deployed on the INS Vikrant.
Oh, that's their aircraft carrier.
Right, so this is all about boosting their presence in the Indian Ocean.
I see. So it's a strategic move.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they're getting 22 single-seater fighters and 4 two-seater trainers.
So they can train their pilots on the new jets.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
And the deal includes weapon systems, simulators, logistical support, and training.
So it's the whole package.
Yeah, they're not just getting the planes.
No, it's a comprehensive deal.
These Rafales, they're going to work alongside the MiG-29Ks that the Navy already has.
Oh, so they're adding to their existing fleet.
Right, and experts are saying they're going to be a real force multiplier.
Meaning?
They're going to make the whole fleet way more effective.
Oh, I see. So it's a big boost to their capabilities?
Absolutely, especially in the Indian Ocean, which is becoming more and more strategically important.
It is a crucial region.
So when can we expect to see these jets in action?
Well, the first ones should arrive somewhere between 37 and 65 months after the deal is signed.
And they're signing it this month.
Right. So we're looking at somewhere between late 2028 and early 2031.
Okay.
And the whole thing should be wrapped up by 2030, 2031.
That's quite a while.
It is, but these are very advanced aircraft.
Oh.
And there are also rumors of another big deal coming up.
Oh, really? For what?
3 more Scorpion-class submarines.
Wow, so they're really stepping up their naval power?
They are. It seems like maritime security is a big priority.
It makes sense given their location.
Absolutely.
So on a slightly smaller scale, but still important, there's news about a railway line expansion in the south.
Okay, which one is this?
It's the Tirupati-Pakalakapati line.
Oh, okay, I've heard of that one.
They're doubling it.
So it'll be 2 tracks instead
Yeah.
of 1.
Right, the whole 104 kilometers of it.
Wow, that's a big project.
It is, and it's going to cost 1,332 crore.
Goodness gracious.
But it's part of that PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan.
Right, the one for improving connectivity across the country.
Exactly.
So what kind of impact is this going to have?
Well, for one thing, it's going to add about 113 kilometers to the railway network.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, and it's going to improve connectivity for something like 400 villages and 1.4 million people.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
It is, and it's not just about people either. It's also about moving goods more efficiently.
Oh, like what kind of goods?
Coal, agricultural, produce, minerals, all kinds of things.
So it'll be a boost for the economy.
Exactly. And get this, the line actually connects a bunch of really important religious and historical sites.
Oh, really? Like which ones?
Well, you've got the Tirumala Venkateswara Temple,
Mm-hmm.
the Sri Kalahasti Shiva Temple, the Narayani Pidam,
Okay.
the Kanapakam Vinayaka Temple, and the Chandragiri Fort.
Wow, so it's like a pilgrimage road as well.
Yeah, basically.
That's fascinating.
And on top of all that, the project is expected to create about 35 lakh human days of employment during construction.
So it's good for jobs, too.
Exactly.
So it's a win-win situation, then.
Pretty much it shows how infrastructure can be this really cool mix of development, religious significance, and economic impact.
It's a good example of how these things can all work together.
Right. Let's switch gears again and talk about something that's been a long time coming.
Okay.
The extradition of Tahawar Hussein Rana to India.
Oh, wow, that's a big deal.
He's considered a key planner of the 26/11 Mumbai attacks.
Right. Those were horrific.
Yeah, it's been 16 years. But he's finally being brought back to India to face trial.
So he lost his appeals in the U.S. courts?
Yep, he's expected to arrive in Delhi.
That's a major victory for India.
It is Home Minister Amit Shah called it a big success for Prime Minister Modi's diplomacy.
It's definitely a significant moment for India.
Rana is actually the second accused in the 26/11 case to be tried in India.
Right, the first was Ajmal Kasab.
Exactly. And India is still trying to get David Headley extradited, too.
He was Rana's associate, right?
Yep, but the U.S. hasn't agreed to that yet.
Hopefully they will soon.
It'd be another step towards justice for the victims.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's look at the global economy for a minute.
Okay.
There's been some interesting news about U.S. tariffs and trade.
Oh, yeah. What's going on there?
Well, President Trump just announced a 10% tariff on goods from every country except China.
So everyone gets a 10% tariff except China.
Right, but for China,
Yeah.
he increased the tariff from 104% to 125%.
Wow, that's a huge jump.
Yeah, it's a pretty clear message to China.
It is.
And as you can imagine, China's not happy about it.
So what have they done?
They hit back with an 86% tariff on U.S. goods.
Oof. That trade war is really heating up.
It is, and the European Union isn't pleased about it either.
So what are they doing?
They've announced a 25% tariff on specific American goods.
Oh, wow. So they're taking sides.
Well, they did say they might suspend the tariffs if things calm down.
So there's still hope for a negotiated solution.
Maybe. But Trump is also talking about putting tariffs on pharmaceuticals.
Oh, boy. That's going to affect a lot of people.
It will.
Yeah.
And amidst all this, India's external affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said that India is talking with the U.S. about a trade agreement.
So they're trying to work something out bilaterally.
Yeah, it's a complicated situation.
It is. Global trade is a delicate balancing act.
Absolutely.
Everyone's trying to protect their own interests.
Okay, so this next one is a little different, but pretty interesting.
Okay.
There's a cybersecurity warning about Ghibli AI art.
Really? I thought that was just a fun trend.
Yeah, a lot of people are using it.
It is fun.
But the Tamil Nadu police are saying it could be risky.
Oh, why is that?
Well, for one thing, they're worried about data leaks.
From the AI platforms.
Right, and they're also worried about companies selling user data to advertisers.
So your personal info could end up being sold.
Yeah, and then there's the whole issue of facial data being used for synthetic media and deepfakes.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about creating fun images.
No, it's about what happens to the data you give those platforms.
Right, because when you upload a photo, you're adding to their training data.
Exactly.
And there's no guarantee that you can delete it.
Right, so it's out there forever.
And downloading Ghibli art from unofficial sources is even riskier.
How so?
You could end up with malware, data loss, even identity theft.
Yikes.
And there are scams, too.
Like what kind of scams?
Phishing scams using Ghibli characters as bait.
So it's like they're using something familiar and fun to trick people.
Exactly.
That's sneaky.
It is. So the police are saying be really careful about where you get your Ghibli content from.
Right, and don't trust everything you see online.
That's always good advice.
Absolutely.
Even when it seems harmless.
So let's talk about something a bit closer to home for a minute.
Okay.
The Mount Kunamali Road in Chennai is apparently a mess right now.
Oh, no. What happened?
It's because of this electric cable laying work they've been doing.
Oh, I see.
For about a month now, the road's been all dug up, and they haven't really done much to fix it.
So there are just these big holes in the road.
Yeah, and it's causing huge traffic jams.
Oof. That's got to be frustrating for people.
It is. Drivers and pedestrians are all having a tough time.
And I bet the metro rail construction isn't helping either.
Nope. It's just making things worse.
Double whammy.
Yeah, and get this. The Highways Department said they can't fix the road without permission from CMRL.
Who's CMRL?
Chennai Metro Rail Limited.
Oh, right. They're the ones in charge of the metro.
Exactly. So it's this whole bureaucratic thing.
That's got to be annoying.
Yeah. And someone actually got hurt because of the road.
Oh, no. What happened?
Techie fell and got injured.
That's awful.
The traffic police are frustrated, too.
I bet they are with all that congestion.
And it sounds like things are going to get even worse.
Oh, why's that?
CMRL said they'll start fixing the road once the cable work is done.
Which is when...
Who knows?
So it could be a while.
It could be. It's a good example of how infrastructure projects can really disrupt everyday life.
Yeah, sometimes progress comes with a price.
Okay, so let's talk about something a little more positive.
Sure.
IIT Madras. And this U.S. startup Zero Labs are teaming up to do some pretty cool research.
Oh, that sounds interesting. What kind of research?
AI research.
Oh, cool.
They're setting up a center of AI research at IITM.
QAR.
Right. And the goal is to tackle this big issue in India, computer accessibility.
Oh, that's a really important problem.
It is. A lot of people can't afford expensive computers.
Right.
So they're focusing on developing AI solutions that can run on regular CPUs and edge devices.
Instead of needing those fancy GPUs?
Exactly.
So they're trying to make AI more accessible to everyone?
Yep, democratize it.
I like that.
And Zero Labs actually unveiled the first version of their compact AI platform at IITM.
What does that do?
It lets you build and run AI models on CPUs.
So you don't need a supercomputer to use AI?
Exactly.
That's really cool.
It could really change the game for AI in India.
Especially for people who don't have access to those high-end machines.
All right, so shifting gears again. Let's talk about something a little more practical.
Yeah.
Tamil New Year's coming up.
Right, it's almost time.
And the Tamil Nadu State Transport Corporation is running all these special buses.
Oh, that's good news for travelers.
Yeah, they're running them from April 11th to the 14th.
So people can get to their families and celebrations.
Exactly, and they'll be running from Kilambakam and Coimbatore to all sorts of destinations.
I see.
And they're even running some from Madhavaram and other cities like Bengaluru.
They're really covering a lot of ground.
They are, and they said they might run even more buses on the 14th, depending on the demand.
So they're being flexible?
Yep, they're trying to make sure everyone can get where they need to go.
That's good to hear.
Okay, so there's this kind of worrying news about the Tambaram flyover.
Oh, no. What happened?
A hole appeared on the road.
Oh.
Yeah, like a 1-foot deep hole.
Oh, my goodness.
And there are cracks, too.
Yikes, that doesn't sound good.
No,
Yeah.
doesn't. They had to block off part of the flyover, and people starting to worry about whether the whole thing is safe.
Yeah, considering it's 13 years old.
Right.
That's a long time.
They're asking for a full inspection.
That makes sense. You don't want to take any chances with a flyover.
Absolutely.
Ah.
Especially one that connects so many different areas.
Right, it's a vital piece of infrastructure.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll get that inspection done soon and fix whatever needs fixing.
Fingers crossed.
There's been a sad incident in Casimiro.
Oh, wow.
A man was arrested for murder after pushing another man who then died.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it seems like they got into an argument over money.
What kind of argument?
Apparently, the victim had given the accused money for something,
Okay.
but then the accused didn't buy the thing.
And they got into a fight over it.
Yeah, and the accused pushed the victim who fell and died.
That's terrible.
It just goes to show how quickly things can escalate.
And how a simple argument can have tragic consequences.
Exactly.
It's a reminder to be careful and try to resolve things peacefully.
So on a more positive note, Tamil Nadu just signed an agreement with the UN World Food Program.
Oh, that's good news. What's it all about?
It's called the Adaptation for Resilience Project.
ADPT4R.
Right, and it's a 5-year project with funding from the Adaptation Fund.
Okay.
And the goal is to help vulnerable agricultural communities.
In Tamil Nadu?
And Odisha and Andhra Pradesh, too.
So it's a multi-state project.
Exactly.
That's great.
And they're going to focus on promoting climate-resilient agriculture, improving access to information and resources, strengthening community institutions, and setting up early warning systems.
So it's a comprehensive approach to building resilience?
Yep, and the budget is $14 million.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
It is. And they're
Okay.
starting the implementation in Ramanathapuram district.
So it's already underway.
Yeah. And this actually builds on a previous agreement between India and the WFP.
So they're continuing their partnership,
Exactly. They're committed to tackling the challenges of climate change in agriculture.
which is so important, especially for those vulnerable communities.
Absolutely. Okay, so back to not so good news.
Okay.
There's been another drug bust at Chennai Airport.
Ugh, it seems like that's happening a lot lately.
It does. This time, they caught a Zambian woman trying to smuggle cocaine.
How is she trying to smuggle it?
She had some hidden in her clothes, and she'd also swallowed capsules of it.
Oh, wow. That's dangerous.
It is. They seized 610 grams of cocaine worth 6.1 crore.
That's a huge amount.
Yeah, and in a separate incident, they caught someone with 1.8 kilograms of refined ganja,
Wow. Where were they coming from?
Bangkok.
Bangkok, okay.
And that was worth 1.9 crore.
So they're really cracking down on drug smuggling.
They're investigating to try and find the networks behind all this.
It's important to stop it at the source.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what's next?
There was a protest in Thanjavur by differently abled persons.
Oh, really? What were they protesting?
They were demanding an apology from a state minister.
Why? What did the minister do?
Apparently, he made some really offensive comments about them.
Like what?
He called them blind, deaf, and dumb.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible.
Yeah, it was really disrespectful.
It is.
And they're not standing for it.
Good for them.
They want a public apology.
They deserve one.
Absolutely, everyone deserves to be treated with respect.
I completely agree.
Okay, some good news now.
Oh, good. I like goodness.
3 fishermen from Ramaswaram who were detained in Sri Lanka have been released.
Oh, that's wonderful news.
They were arrested for fishing in Sri Lankan waters.
Off the coast of Jaffna Island.
Right.
Okay.
And they were sentenced to 6 years.
6 years. Wow.
But the sentence was suspended for 2 years.
So they're free to go home.
Yep, they're already back in India.
That's a relief.
It's a reminder of the challenges fishermen face.
Yeah, especially when it comes to international boundaries.
So sadly, Tamil Nadu lost a prominent political figure recently,
Oh, who was that?
Kumari Ananthan.
I've heard that name.
He was a veteran Congress leader, and he was 93 years old.
Wow, 93. That's a long life.
It is, and he was a real champion of the Tamil language. He was actually the first MP to speak in Tamil in the Lok Sabha.
Really? Wow, that's historic.
It is, and he was known for his amazing speeches and his literary work.
So he was a true advocate for Tamil culture.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
And he even received the Thagaisal Tamiler Award.
What's that?
It's a prestigious award for people who've made significant contributions to Tamil.
Oh, wow. So he was really a pillar of the community.
He was, and he was involved in the freedom struggle, too.
Oh, wow. So he's seen a lot of history.
He was a 4-time MLA and a 1-time MP.
That's quite a career.
It is. And he was passionate about environmental issues, too.
Really? Like what?
Palm tree conservation and river linking.
Oh, wow. So he really cared about the environment.
He did, and a lot of people are really sad about his passing.
I can imagine.
Prime Minister Modi and Chief Minister Stalin both offered their condolences.
So he was respected across party lines.
Yeah, and CM Stalin announced a state funeral for him.
A fitting tribute to a long life of service.
Absolutely. His daughter is Tamilisai Sundararajan,
Yeah. Oh, the former Telangana governor.
Right.
I didn't realize that was his daughter.
Yeah, so it's a real loss for Tamil Nadu.
It sounds like it.
Okay, so remember that Supreme Court verdict about the Tamil Nadu governor?
Yeah, the one about clearing those bills.
Right. Well, the Chief Minister of Karnataka had something to say about it.
Oh, what did he say?
He said, it's a strong warning to all governors and the central government.
Interesting.
He said Karnataka has also had problems with the governor delaying bills.
So he's speaking from experience.
Yeah, and he basically accused governors in opposition-ruled states of being puppets of the central government.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty strong accusation.
It is, but it shows how this verdict has implications beyond Tamil Nadu.
Right. It's about the balance of power between the states and the center.
Exactly. It's a big deal for federalism in India.
Absolutely.
Okay, so there's some good news for small businesses in Tamil Nadu.
Oh, that's always good to hear what's happening.
The MSME minister announced a bunch of new concessions and initiatives.
Oh, cool. Like what?
Well, they're increasing the investment subsidy for micro industries from 5 lakh to 10 lakh.
So they're doubling it?
Yep.
Wow, that'll help a lot of small businesses.
And they're setting up 13 new SIDCO industrial parks. State Industries Promotion Corporation of Tamil Nadu.
Right. Okay.
And 9 new general industrial estates across the state.
Wow, they're really investing in infrastructure.
They are. And they've allocated 20 crore to improve facilities in existing MSME clusters.
So they're not just building new stuff, they're upgrading the old stuff too.
Exactly. And they're holding special camps for entrepreneurs from scheduled tribes to help them get loans.
Oh, that's great to make sure everyone has access to opportunities.
Yeah, they're aiming to disperse 100 crore in credit.
That's a significant amount.
It is. And there are also plans for a special industrial estate in Chidambaram for making covering ornaments.
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't heard of that before.
Yeah, and a cashew processing plant and setters for synthetic textile clothing.
Wow. So they're really trying to boost different sectors of the economy,
They are. And they're doing renovations in 18 existing Sitco parks.
keeping things up to date.
And they're improving workers' quarters in Kanchipuram.
That's important too.
Yeah, and to top it all off, they're setting up a regional startup center in Thoothukudi.
What will that focus on?
Space and marine technology. Expert speaker.